Hey, good morning, folks. Welcome to another live stream episode with Montana Outdoor Science School. My name is Melanie, and today's subject is all about one of our ambassador animals. Her name is Charlotte, and Charlotte is a tarantula. Before I get too far, I'm curious if y'all recognize either of these words here. The first word, arachnophobe. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of arachnophobia. Arachnophobia is the fear of spiders. The phobe part is the key word in that, being the fear part. Arachno is the word for spider. However, if you're not afraid of spiders, if you like spiders, if you love them, you might be an arachnophile. It means that you enjoy spiders and that you like them. So if you are either one of these, feel free to share this if you are comfortable with that. Type into the comments if you are an arachnophobe or an arachnophile. And before we get too far, I'm going to let y'all see our ambassador animal, Charlotte. Charlotte, everybody. She is a Chilean rose tarantula. This means that she comes from South America. She lives in the deserts and in arid regions of Chile, of Argentina, anywhere that there is a nice dry place for her. She is, of course, like all spiders, carnivorous, meaning she will eat anything that, essentially anything she can catch. In the wild, her species will get mostly insects, but she and her species are capable of eating things like lizards, eating things like small mammals if they can catch them. There's also some tarantulas in the world that are even capable of getting birds. Her species is not so much a bird hunter, but there are several that are, which I always think is pretty neat. Because she is a tarantula, she is a spider. We all know spiders have 8 legs, of course, but they are also divided into just 2 body segments rather than 3 body segments like insects. Insects, they have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. She has a head thorax section that is all one piece together. It's called a cephalothorax. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on my camera here. So her cephalothorax is all that area. I wonder if I can point. So there's all that area right there. That's her cephalothorax. That's the first section of her. And then her abdomen is back here. The abdomen contains most of her internal organs and is also where her reproduction organs are at. So if she ever were to have eggs, she would be laying them with her abdomen there. She does have 8 legs, like all spiders. She also has 8 eyes. However, ironically, tarantulas do not have very good eyesight. So with tarantulas, they're actually nocturnal for the most part, which is why we see her not moving around very much here. She is awake in the nighttime. She's not really awake in the daytime much, or if she is, she's reluctantly awake in the daytime. She doesn't really like to be bothered too much in the day. However, we are going to be feeding her live on here. So if you are someone who's not comfortable watching live feeding, just know that that is coming. I'll probably do that in about 5 to 10 minutes. It'll give me a little bit more time to talk about her and also for you guys to potentially see if she'll eat. I learned from my coworkers that nobody has actually watched her eat, and I just recently saw her eat for the first time ever. I'm gonna try to replicate those conditions that I fed her in. It was pretty simple. I just dropped a couple crickets near her, and then she scuttled really fast to go near them and to see them, and then she bit into one of them. And then another time I saw her eat, she actually got 2 at once, which was pretty phenomenal. So she will be a very quick eater when she does end up eating. Charlotte is one of our animal ambassadors that we do not handle. She's actually, except for the fish in the office, she is the only one who we do not handle regularly. And there's a few reasons why. It's both for her safety and for our safety. Her species, the Chilean rose tarantula, I have it written right up here if you guys are curious to see it. Her species tends to get aggressive if they are handled too much. And because none of us saw her when we first got her, None of us were working there yet. We don't really know her history as far as being handled, and we don't know what the threshold is for her for being handled too much. For some tarantulas, that could be once a day is perfect. They don't need any more and don't want any more than that. For some tarantulas, that's too much. That bothers them. Even bothering them once a week, handling them once a week could be a hassle for them. So we just don't know what her, I guess her temperament is for being handled. We don't want to risk upsetting her. We also don't want to risk being bit by her. So even though she is a pet, you can buy a lot of tarantulas in pet stores, she is ever so slightly venomous. This means that if she were to bite somebody, she is capable of releasing venom, and it's not so much so that she could possibly ever kill anyone. No one has ever been documented being killed by a tarantula before, but she can make an irritation of that kind of a wound. Venom is not something that the human body can take very well. Her venom would be no different, so you would get an irritation that might occur. We don't want to handle her to provoke her to that stage, so we just all around keep her in her tank just like so. We don't pick her up physically. There's another couple of reasons why we don't pick her up. For her safety, if she were to ever fall from too far of a height, it could be dangerous for her. So because she is an arachnid, she does have an exoskeleton, just like insects do. An exoskeleton is like a protective armor on the outside. It's the skeleton on the outside. All their muscles on the inside do attach to the wall of their exoskeleton from inside of them. But if she falls from a great height, it could be a hard enough of a hit that when she hits the floor, it could be bad for her abdomen. It's been documented that tarantulas that fall from too big of height, they will, their abdomen will split. And for her being as small as she is, even though she is a great big spider, for her being the small animal that she would have a significant wound if her abdomen were to split, and she could potentially die from it. So we don't handle her also for that reason. We don't want to hurt her or make her so uncomfortable that she accidentally falls or lets go in an attempt to escape from us. The final reason we don't pick her up, and this is the more common reason, is because tarantulas have irritating hairs all over their body. And you can see those hairs even from afar. Check it out. She's a fuzzy gal for sure. But it's not hair the way our hair is. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Let me put my camera down for y'all. So exoskeletons on insects and on arachnids, it's made of a substance called chitin. I'm going to spell that out for you guys so you can see. Chitin is a type of protein, but it's not the same type of protein that our hair is made out of. Our hair is made out of something called keratin. Oops, I spelled keratin wrong. Give me a hot second. Keratin. So I'll show y'all. So chitin is for spiders and insects. Draw a little spider here for y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4. And keratin is what we have. We have keratin on our heads and across our bodies, and so do other mammals as well. That's what our hair is made out of. I should point a little arrow at the hair. There we go. On a spider, the chitin hairs, so on her little hairs on her body, these look very different under a microscope than hairs from a person. Hairs from a person end up looking like this. They're just one straight long line. If you looked at it under a microscope, you might see little like lines across it, like so. It almost looks like it could be scaled. If you looked at chitin under a microscope though, you get a similar base, just a single long strand, but then it almost looks brushy. It looks kind of like a feather almost. It has lots and lots of little spurs off of it. And these spurs, these little extra follicles, are what cause irritation to human skin when they come into contact with this hair. You can imagine like a hook on a fishing hook. Anytime that these hairs If they get stuck in skin, they are like a barb. They might enter skin, get stuck in such a way that they can't be pulled out easily or they can't come out at all, and it causes an irritation. It's actually one of the ways that she, as a species, is able to defend herself as well as other tarantulas. All tarantulas on their abdomen, let me show you guys her abdomen once again, they have these little hairs across the back, and they will brush their back legs across their abdomen if they feel at all threatened. I see someone asked a question as to how old she is. It's a really good question, and to be fair, I couldn't tell you. We know that these types of spiders, these types of tarantulas, can live up to 20 years. In captivity, they've even been known to live close to 30 years, but we don't know for sure how old she is, just because none of us have been working as long as Charlotte has been at Moss. So we're unfortunately not sure. But 20 years is a long time. 20 years is longer than most large animals will live, so that's a pretty interesting thing. Going back to her little defensive hairs on her abdomen, she can brush those off, and if they get in the air, they can cause an irritation to an animal that is too close to her. She'll use those hairs to irritate their eyes, their nose, and if these hairs can get into the lungs, they are small enough to be breathed in, so if they get into the lungs, that can cause a big irritation for an animal that might try to predate on her, might try to bother her. So that's another reason we do not handle Charlotte. We don't want to get to that point. I did have a friend once who had a tarantula, and it was a different species than what Charlotte is here. It was really exciting. He let us hold the tarantula, but the tarantula, I could definitely tell, even though it wasn't aggressive, even though it wasn't defending itself, I could tell that the little hairs on its legs even were slightly irritating. My hand got itchy. It didn't hurt. It didn't feel bad, but I did quickly realize that those hairs, if she wanted to, could become a very good way to defend herself. So I think at this point, I'm going to drop a cricket or two near her. We'll see if she eats them, and if not, that's totally fine. She often won't eat them straight away if she's not hungry, but we do let them wander inside of her cage for a time until she's ready to take those critters back on to try to eat them. Oops, there's one. Let me see if I can get it. Come here. Oh no. I lost a cricket. All right, got one. All right, so just so everyone knows, if she does move for it, she's going to be moving very, very fast. I just want y'all to be aware that that is something that might happen. Let me drop one in next to her. I'll try to get you guys a really good view as I do this. Oh, didn't drop it close enough to her. That's okay. I might try another one just to see if I can get it again. He jumped out of my hand, and then I couldn't get him. Oops. All right, let's try this again. Oh, walked the wrong way. Oh, but look at that. She is interested. She felt that vibration. Speaking of feeling vibrations, I mentioned earlier how she doesn't have very good sight. She does have a very, very good sense of feeling, though, because of those hairs again. If we look once more, you could imagine how vibrations, sound going through the air, could be made very sensitive if you have hairs like this across your body. You have more surface area to feel those vibrations versus hair like this. You're not going to necessarily feel what's going on. I might try dropping just one more cricket in here just to see if she'll go for it now that she is facing the correct way that I want her to. Oops, I'm losing my cricket again. Here we go. All right. Hopefully she goes for this one. We'll see. Oh, dang. She is curious, though, about that cricket. The cricket went over into this direction, and you can see across her tank, she's made this kind of dug out section around her water bowl, her food bowl, versus on this side, she's got a ton of substrate. This is all like a dry, mossy kind of thing. Oh, she just walked over that cricket. Oh, you guys, she got the cricket. Oh, that's exciting. I'm gonna see if I can get a better view for y'all. I hope I got that on camera. I think I got that on camera. Let me walk over this way, see if I can't get a better view of that. So she can feel vibrations really well with her hairs across her body. And she, when she eats, we all know, of course, that spiders will bite down and their fangs will release venom. The venom paralyzes their prey. Then, this is not quite as commonly known, spiders have to ingest a liquid diet. Their digestive system is made for liquid. So what ends up happening is spiders have to regurgitate digestive liquids into, oops, sorry, Charlotte, have to release digestive juices into their prey. I wish I could zoom in for you guys onto her mouth area. It's really difficult. I don't want to get closer to her either. Her mouth parts. Ooh, is she going to go for another one? Oh, exciting. There are 2 more crickets roaming around in here. There goes one. So she may very well try to take up another one. So like I was saying, her fangs will release venom into the animal or the prey that she has. And then she has to release digestive juices inside that critter in order to turn the insides of it into liquid, and then she can actually suck it out. Her mouth is behind her fangs, and I tried to research this. It's a little unclear if her digestive juices are released through her fangs or through her mouth. I had a really hard time trying to research that. So maybe if you're a spider expert and you know the answer to that, feel free to let us know in the comments section. Something else that is distinguishing between tarantulas and between other spiders, it's not just their size, it's not just the hair, it's the way their fangs come out on their body. So on any other spider, I'm going to use my fingers to demonstrate this. On a spider, if my fingers are their fangs, other spiders, their pinchers come together like so, just like this. Versus on tarantulas, their fangs go down and out like this. Very different from other spiders, which is how you can distinguish between the two. The spiders, the tarantulas are the largest known spiders. They are all very large comparative to regular spiders. There are a handful of regular spiders that grow to be huge too, but not quite as common. Wow. Ooh, you see those little dots right there? Those are her eyes. And if you can see that little indent there, that's kind of the spot where if she was going to molt or shed her exoskeleton, that's one of the spots where her exoskeleton would start to peel off and away from herself. She does go through a molt every now and again. She has reached adult size though, so she hasn't molted a whole lot since she's gotten to be this old. And in fact, I've never seen one of her exoskeletons that she has molted. She's so cool. Look at her move around. What a gal. She does spin web, but her web is not used for catching spiders. Or I'm sorry, it's not used for catching prey. It is instead used, much like her hairs, it's used to feel vibrations around in her area. She's made webbing all across this in the last handful of days. I did a little rearrangement in her habitat here. Ooh, do you see her spinnerets on the back? Oh, and she's even laying down a little web too. So those 2 little black dots on her butt are her spinnerets that she releases webbing from. You can kind of see it too. Do y'all see oh yeah, do you see that one moving in the wind? Just a little bit? Cool. I didn't know if we would get to see that today. That's very neat. Wow. So she's laying down some web, not to catch the prey, but to be able to feel the vibrations from the prey if it should walk across her den there. I wonder if I can get a view of her mouth again. I'm going to try from this angle over here. Oh, that's not going to work. Unfortunately, I can't view her from this side. We have a nice little background thing right here. So I'm gonna move my way back to the front, I think, so that we can watch her from there. Let's see. So like I said, she doesn't catch prey with her web. She is an ambush predator though. So in the wild, her species would wait until something came across that was the right size and the right taste for her. And if she could catch it, she would kill it and eat it if she was hungry. Wow, look at her move. She's so cool. So folks, that's about everything I have for you regarding Charlotte, the Chilean rose tarantula. I'll get another close-up view for you in here. Her habitat consists of a warm area, which is under this rock here. We have a little heat pad that adds additional warmth for her. And then she has her cooler side over here. It's not in the sun like this usually. I just have her in my home right now, and I'm only here at this table for a short while with her. But she has all kinds of areas in her little habitat. Something that I did see that was kind of funny is these species of tarantulas like to rearrange their home. And you can tell this specifically with their water dish. That in there are those little yellow jellies that hold water. And all the time, I'll come in and she kicks all her little jellies out and she puts dirt in there instead. And it's a phenomenon that is often occurring. That occurs really often with these spiders. Not really sure why. That's just the nature of them. Ooh, is she gonna go for that cricket? She reacted a little when it went on screen. I'll let y'all watch for a little bit longer. Maybe she goes for that cricket. She is hungry. It's clear that she is hungry right now. She might not go for that one. That's okay. That's about everything I have for you folks though. If you do have any more questions, you can always post to our Facebook page. Feel free to contact us regarding any curiosities you have, or if you come across anything cool. We love seeing pictures of that kind of stuff. If you do any of the activities too, we'd love to see those posts on Facebook. If you like this video, be sure to follow us on Facebook. Be sure to like our posts, share them with your friends as well. And we also have a YouTube page for Montana Outdoor Science School that you can subscribe to as well. We're frequently putting videos out on that page. You can check that out as well. These live feeds always go onto the YouTube page for folks to see as well. So if you missed out today, it's okay. You can always go back and watch these as well. I'm gonna peace out from here though, folks. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time for another episode with Montana Outdoor Science School. Thanks.